Hello there people of the internet, here are 5 tanks of World War II that you probably heard about. Number 1, Tiger I. This magnificent German beast was one of the best tanks in World War II, its armor was 100% Krupp steel, invincible by the way, it never broke down or had any mechanical failures. The only times this tank was decommissioned was when it ran out of fuel or the crew felt it was too unfair for the enemies. Even the German army decided it was enough with 1,350 tanks built. By 1944 the Tiger I production was stopped as they decided to go for the weak and vulnerable Tiger II. Maybe we should give some background? Probably. The idea of a heavy tank started somewhere in 1937 when the Tank Design Office of the Ordnance Department, WPRW6, asked Henschel to design the chassis for a 30-ton tank. It had multiple names from escort tank to infantry tank but in the end it was named to D.WI, Durchbruchswagen, meaning breakthrough tank. This was the first step for the heavy tank concept. With the adoption of the VK designation system, the DW became the VK 30.01. The D.WI led to the D.W2, wow, I know, pretty cool no? It was armed with a 7.5 cm KWKL-24, same gun as the Panzer IV by the way, great idea to arm a heavy tank with the same gun as the infantry tank at the time. 10 out of 10. Anyway let's move on. So by 1941 they realized that the tank was using the 75 short gun. Oh no, the tank is using a short gun, what do we do? Krupp, can the 7.5 cm KWKL-34.5 fit? No. Okay, Krupp, can the 7.5 cm KWKL-43 fit? No. Okay. So the project was dropped and they went with the VK 3601 which was also a shitfest and went for the VK 4501 and finally the Tiger I was born. Well it was already born but now it was approved for production. Ah, by the way there were 2 VK 4501 tanks, one was by Henschel and the other one was by Porsche named VK 4501P, the Porsche lost only because it was too OP. Number 2. T-34. The Soviet T-34 tank was one of the best tanks of World War II. It was an excellent tank when it came out, a masterpiece more likely. The 76mm gun was one of the best guns at the time in 1940, it was so good that it was even used till the end of the war by the brave Soviets. Even when the 85mm gun was available they still used the 76mm gun, as they had more confidence in it against the Tiger and Panther tanks. The T-34 was also very well armored, it used a special steel alloy named Stalinium that could even deflect the 88mm gun even at close range. One impressive aspect of the T-34 is how cheap it is and simple. It doesn't have the expensive and useless radio or the pointless cupola that the German tanks uses. Only in 1944 the T-34-85 was introduced and they just wanted to play with the German designs and added a 3-man turret with a bigger gun, even if there was no need to begin with. A very cheap tank indeed it was, if the track was blown up you could just change the tank instead. Number 3, M4 Sherman. The M4 medium tank was one of the most produced and widely used tanks of World War II. It's on par to the T-34 and it is still used by some countries even today, wow no? Forgetting the part that these countries didn't add anything else than M3A3 light tanks. Anyway, the Sherman was proved to be the best tank used by the US Army during World War II, even if it was just a boneless M3 Lee. The best part of the Sherman is that you are always in gangs, so you don't need to worry in tank combat, you just need 5 Shermans to destroy a Tiger, 4 to destroy a Panther and 3 to destroy a Panzer IV. Even if the long 76 gun was available they still liked to get close to the Tiger, for some reasons, and the Tiger that was in ambush position will also just rush towards the Shermans for no apparent reason. Ah, in 1944 they realized that the armor was shit and were in panic. Oh no, the armor is weak, what do we do? Add sandbags and tracks. Okay. They did that but later Platoon found out. Boy. Are you nuts? So they pretty pissed him off, even if the sandbags would only stop heat rounds but anyway. Oh no, the sandbags don't do jack shit. Oh no, what do we do? Weld extra armor plates. Okay. so they welded salvaged armor plates from Shermans and enemy tanks, and the Jumbo was born. Also for some reason they decided to upgrade the 75 Sherman and 76. Number 4, Cromwell. The Cromwell Tank Corps tank, cruiser, Mk8, Cromwell, A27M, long name, was a medium tank used during World War II and still saw service in the 50s. The tank was fast, it had a good acceleration, decent armor and most importantly, the crew comfort was 101% excellent. It was a pleasure to exit this tank in case of an emergency. Most crews will just exit and re-enter to exit again. Many lives were lost by this foolish act. Well, the Cromwell evolution was really interesting. It was like the Cas9 more likely, you would expect it to have no problems. Then the DNA letters get messed up. So, it was like this. Cromwell 1 led to Cromwell 2, pretty cool no? Cromwell 2 led to Cromwell 5, this is where the DNA broke down. And it didn't repair itself after this point. It led to Cromwell 7. It's pretty messed up so we will avoid it. But hey, it is named after the successful leader of the Civil War, meaning that this tank will be a success no? No. A better variant of the Cromwell was the Comet with a 17 PDR gun, a PDS magic round. Don't worry about the accuracy, it was shit but you have magic rounds. Anyway, the reverse speed was pretty much removed as there was no need for retreat. Number 5, H-39. The Hotchkiss H-39 was not a new tank, it was just an upgraded H-35. The idea of upgrading the H-35 started somewhere in 1936. Au croissant, my baguette, this char is slow. Baguette, put a better engine in it imbecile. Bien, baguette. So they put a better engine in the H-35, a 120 horsepower one. And they decided to improve the whole tank, it got a better gun and better suspension and tracks and the weight was increased. Pretty baguette if ask me. The tank was invincible by the way, nothing could damage the tank, even the Germans used them and added a cupola. They were cupola fanatics. Anyway, please don't take this video too serious, this is a joke. It's sad if you actually believed that what I said it's true. If you want I could make a more in-depth video about each tank but there are already videos on YouTube about them so I will probably try to do tanks or military stuff you probably don't even know about. Just going back a little, the Tiger 1 tank was a failure if you ask me, it was very expensive and its shape, it was just a box. Well, the suspension was okay I guess, just a little too complicated, mud would get stuck there and freeze so that's a bad thing. The transmission would break down pretty fast, but at least the drivers were instructed to avoid doing bad turns. The Tiger 2 was a better tank than the Tiger 1, it was more reliable and simpler. Its bad reputation for breaking down as fast as the Tiger I was because of the inexperienced crew, most were also lost because of the lack of fuel. The T-34 was not the best tank, it was just a cheap decent tank, after 48 hours of running it will end up breaking down, its armor was not that great either, but this was the best tank for the Soviet Union. As for the Sherman, it was a really good tank, it was not really meant for tank combat in the first place, but even then, its 75 could take out the Panzer III and IV at medium range. Its armor also was good and it was really safe for the crew. For the Cromwell and H-39, I won't say anything. Hope you like this video. This channel is mostly random but I will intend to post more World War II and military stuff.